Hey guys, how's it going? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, Bitcoin has been pumping. We're going to cover that and what levels to be looking for at this point. So we'll look at the daily charts and then drill down to some smaller time frames to show you how, as we're in this buy the dip mode, how to play that. Also take a look at our Bitcoin Delta chart. And I wanted to show you guys the GBTC chart because that's releasing. So we talked about that. We're going to go over that. Also look at the minor capitulation chart. I wanted to discuss the dynamics in play there. And we'll see how we're tracking on the cycle repeat, as that's a good reference point for us. So let's dive into these charts and check it out.
Trade Genius.
Okay, guys, just ignore the signals right now on the chart for the time being. I just want to talk about levels, and we're right up into another block of resistance. And where I derived that from is if you look on the weekly chart, it's actually this high here from back in April of 2018. It's a weekly bar, so it's the body of that weekly bar, and we're going right up into it. You'll notice this acted as support as we were coming off the blow-off tops from that bear market exit plus token Ponzi type pump, and that acted as support, and then price couldn't close back above it on the way back down, and here we are again. So I do expect a bit of battling in here. Closing above this block though is going to be very, very bullish, and ultimately folks, what we're looking at is probably not only breaking beyond this high of 10,000. On this particular candle we were at a weekly high of 10,540. I think that is definitely the target right now for this up move. And then we're going to probably probe into this area here of this major trend line at 10,540. And we're going to see how that reacts. So this is, I don't want to go beyond that. This is kind of the immediate targets to the upside for this move. The move up has started and the volume has increased a bit here, so that's a good sign. So I think things have started off very well. As far as how to play this, if you drill down to the hourly chart, and you'll notice that when we started off on the bottom of this move, we had a moneymaker fire off. Actually, we had a couple fire off here. One moneymaker that stopped out, but then we had our slingshot and buy pressure really toward the bottom of this. So that part provided a move up and then retested the lows there. Again, this is on the hourly chart. Then we had a couple sell signals and then we had this moneymaker buy here, and that really sustained. And what I look for is where are we in relation to the linear regression channel? So down here, we were probing outside of it to the downside, and now here we're sustaining above it. So that's a clue when you're getting these signals, how it's relating to the linear regression channel. And so it stayed to the upside. And then as we were going up, getting these sell signals, and they really weren't going anywhere. So that's another clue. So these are looking at the cyclical nature of time, volume, and price, and giving us a heads up that things are turning. But when the market is absorbing that energy, okay, and keeping it elevated like that, then we're looking at continuation patterns, and that's where these slingshot signals come in. Okay, so again, this is on an hourly, looking kind of at what's going on with the daily to pinpoint some of these intraday moves. And again, what I'm seeing is a lot of these sell signals that normally can give us more range are not doing so. So the buy pressure is on to the upside, and I think that that further confirms that we're just in the buy the dip mode. If we look at the Delta chart, you're going to see that the color has been to the buy side. So this bluish color means buy the dip. And essentially what you're looking for is any pullbacks on the 4-hour chart to these moving averages. So we didn't even get down to the WMA 20, which is normally you get a tag there. So again, strength of the market here. This is a solid up move. And there's really no signs of that slowing down or showing us to get short. Now, the GBTC chart is one that has been curious because the premium has been held back. But remember what we said in the last video, we're waiting for that to spike up. And that's what we got here in the last 24 to 48 hours. Big spike up, prices jumped up quickly. And I think that generally speaking, when you get that, you're at least going to see a 30% premium. And ideally, you see up to 35% premium. So, and those are going to be your two spots here for this GBTC trade to take that off the table. Going back to the minor capitulation chart, so when we got that green light from the capitulation bands, that signaled that it was time to go. Those lows were in, and that has since played out. So what we're looking for now is the theory of the miners hoarding Bitcoin into the halving because they've got to offset that haircut back in May when production drops in half. So this hash rate, I would expect to see that the swap out of the old gear into the new gear continues, and this hash rate continues to climb. It's going to be very beneficial for them to throw as much hash power at the BTC mining as possible before the halving to not only help stockpile, but then be able to get those reserves sold off during the halving event. And what it does, it buys them time as a price not only drops, but then resumes the trend higher, and it just helps smooth that haircut, and then price can catch up and then offset that production halving. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is a cycle repeat chart. If you look at it, basically, if we zoom in here, you'll notice price, again, getting ahead of the mean. And again, in context, you're looking at where we have things like the geopolitical stuff and the virus out of China. The flight of safety aspect of it is creating this surge higher. But keep in mind, we've got levels back down lower, gaps in the CME futures that are still calling. So, we have to keep in mind how far away we do get away from the cycle repeat averages, which are down in the 8500s. And if you look at the futures, you do see we have some gaps. A big gap here, probably the most likely one to get filled on a type of quick pullback will be this one here from this last weekend, where we saw a gap at 9100 plus. The half point on that is 9188. Do not be surprised if you see that 9188 bounce first. But also we have a very, very tiny one back here in the 8500s. And like I said, I think ultimately when this move is done and tires out, you could see a drift back to that. That being said, sometimes these things will take a while to play out. You may not see that till after halving, or until this halving, what I call the pre-halving move, which may peak out before halving and then pull back, similar to what you saw with Litecoin. I think is very entirely possible here with Bitcoin. So anyway, that's where we're at right now with Bitcoin. Again, buy the dip mode is fully on. And I think we look at these targets north of 10K on the daily chart as very realistic targets for this move. So if you guys are interested in joining us in the room, head over to tradelikeagenius.com. Check out our specials over there. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the next video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.